Thanks for watching this very short video about neighbors helping neighbors. We're going to highlight National Night Out because it's coming up soon. It's Tuesday, August 2nd. Plenty of time to prepare, but we really want to encourage you to use this opportunity. It happens once a year. We're asking you to mix a little business with pleasure, just a little. Folks want to connect. They are craving that connection. So take advantage of National Night Out this year and gather your neighbors together. It can be super simple. You can gather for a glass of lemonade or a potluck, whatever works for your neighborhood, whatever works for your building. My block is pretty good about doing National Night Out, and I like starting ours by talking about what I need from my neighbors. I have a teenager who forgets to close the garage door. I ask my neighbors, if you're walking by, if you're walking your dog, if you're coming home late from dinner and you see my garage door open and it's starting to get dark, please text me. Let me know it's still open. Text me, call me, knock on my door. I don't care. Just let me know. If you see the dome light in my car open, for heaven's sakes, let me know. If you see me watering the driveway when you know I don't want to be, let me know. So start it off with you being vulnerable about what you need from your neighbors and then ask them to share. And maybe they'll let you know that they have middle schoolers that are home by themselves from 3 to 5 every night. And if you can't make it home from work, maybe they would like someone to check in on their kids, or they have a senior parent living with them who might need a little bit more help, or an elderly dog who might need some support if they can't make it home from work or if they're gone for an extended period of time. So start talking about how you can support one another, but start with yourself. And then talk about things like trash day. If you're not taking out your trash and pulling in the trash bins for your neighbors when they're gone, you should be. It's a really good, really simple way to connect with neighbors and to support one another. And then extreme weather. Commit to going over to your neighbor's house who you know doesn't have air conditioning and just checking on them. If they're home during the days, just stop by and go, hey, how's it going? And if you have a neighbor who you know is going to be reluctant to ask for help, ask them for something first. Go over to their home, knock on their apartment door, and just say, look, I'm completely out of sugar. I'm making a recipe. I need a quarter cup. Do you have it so I can borrow it? They more than likely will be able to help you out, and then you will be indebted to them. So they won't feel so bad asking you for help. So think about the cup of sugar neighbor. Because we're the Seattle Emergency Communication Hubs and we're all about emergency preparedness, we're going to ask you to put in an emergency preparedness message into your National Night Out. So how can we support one another? We have to know our hazards. Here in Seattle, it's earthquakes, it's long-term power outages, and it's extreme weather. Start with something kind of simple. It's outside. You can walk around to the side of the building, the side of your home, whoever's hosting, and you can take a look at that gas meter. You're not going into anyone's home. It's very non-invasive. So start with gas meters if you have gas on your block, in your building. You're going to look at the valve that is highlighted there. So if the valve is in line with the pipe, the gas is flowing. If you turn it across the pipe, you will stop the gas from flowing. Just want to warn you, do not practice turning the gas off. Because of pilot lights and just a different system that we have these days as opposed to 10 years ago, we are asked to not turn off the gas unless it's a true emergency. Don't practice with this. Show neighbors what you would do, but don't actually do it. Talk about the kind of tool that might be helpful to turn off the gas. A lot of people will zip tie or somehow tie the tool to the gas meter so it's there when it's needed. Show folks that. Talk to them about that. Again, don't turn your gas off because to turn it back on, you need to call the gas company. And then talk about what a gas leak feels like, what it smells like, which is rotten eggs, what it sounds like, which is a hissing noise. Lots of good conversation can be had standing around looking at a gas meter. And then let's talk about water. Again, everybody has water somehow coming to the building they're in. This is a picture of the water meter out in the street that anybody has access to, and you could turn it off for a neighbor if that would make sense. If there's an earthquake and there's broken pipes, or there's construction down the street and you know the water is leaking, turn off a neighbor's water. It's super simple. So this is what it looks like in the ground. This is what it might look like when you take the cover off. They're below surface a bit, usually full of dirt and leaves in there. The tool that this guy is holding is really nice, but you don't need it necessarily. But have the kids practice turning this one off and on, because you can. Again, this is the valve you're looking at here on the right. If it runs in line with the pipe, the water is flowing. As soon as you turn it to run across the pipe, you've turned the water off. So across the pipe is off, and it's okay to practice with the water shut off. It's not a problem. So have the kids play around with that tool. Another thing to talk about is long-term power outages. If there's no gas on your block, and so you're all having to do without cooking because the power is off and you don't have electricity, talk about sharing meal prep, sharing grill space. All the food in your refrigerators and your freezers is going to go bad eventually. You might as well share grill space and cook it all up and have a big barbecue. This is an example of how to record everybody's information, because this is really important. I'm very visual, so I have to have it on a map of some kind. This happens to be my street without everybody's information on there. And what I've written down is names of all the adults and the kids and the pets, if they want me to, if the neighbors are okay with that, phone numbers and emails. And I keep this up to date. I'll put new information on it as it comes up, and I'll distribute it to everybody on my block. No further, just the folks on my block. And then I print it out for the 2 neighbors that don't have email. And then before National Night Out breaks up, schedule a follow-up meeting if you have more business to talk about. Encourage folks to get back together, and then do it more than just once a year in August. Schedule a follow-up meeting, because building community is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It takes a while. This is brought to you by the Emergency Communication Hubs. We help neighbors at a community level. What we're asking you to do is work on it at a neighborhood level. You can find your local community hub at seattleemergencyhubs.org. Thank you.